What's up, everybody? Big Herc 916, getting down fresh out. You know how we do it over here. I got Lady Purpz with me, and man, she's back on the channel sharing her story again. And she just got out in 2022. She had been out for a while, went through a situation. You got to watch the other interviews to see it. But Lady Purpz, when you went back and you seen like the dynamics of the prison, did you notice a trend with women committing more crimes, getting more involved in criminal activity that men normally did? What were some of the things that you noticed that had changed in the system compared to when you had first went in and got out?
I think there is a lot more women committing crime. Like I said at first, I think that a lot of them are just stepping up. You know, a lot of it has to do with having co-defendants too. These dudes, a lot of dudes are rolling over now. So now you just want to do your own thing. A lot of women are selling drugs, crossing borders, doing all these crimes that men normally would do. For me, when I got caught up the last time, I think it was I didn't want co-defendants, so I was doing everything myself. I was moving myself. I didn't want people involved because I didn't want people telling on me or whatnot. But women are out there more, and at first we were out there more, I think, because we were like, oh, we're going to get less time. But it's not like that. We're actually getting broken off just like the guys now.
Do you think that the roles in society are a lot at play here? Because, I noticed like, what was that show? Something of the South with the cartel woman. I forgot what it's called, but she was like a cartel leader, and then now you got the Griselda Blanco,
Yeah.
and then now you got all this stuff. So they're showing women. It's crazy because it used to be the woman was take care of the family, raising a kid. Now she's in the streets, in power. She took over some of the drugs, and so they're showing these women, and it's like a subliminal brain, program where you see this, and whether it's like, okay, I'm getting into drugs, or I'm gonna start rolling these guys over, getting over on them, and maybe sleeping with them and robbing them. I mean, there's all these different things I see going on, and I'm seeing like women, get more aggressive in the criminal side and also the scamming side, and it's just like it's not the role that you would typically see a lot of these women. They're I don't know if it's just a transitioning of how the times are moving, or if these women are seeing these different angles now because of just everything that's going on. What's your take on all that? Oh, Queen of the South. Queen of the South was like the show where she was like running her own cartel. But I'm saying that's a trend now that I see with the criminal shows with women being the main characters.
Yeah, I think a lot of us women, like, we have more access, so we're going to get the cheaper prices. We're going to not be looked at as much. Like if we're crossing the border with stuff, it's more like, hey, come on, pass. You know what I mean? We're not going to be eyeballed so much because we're women. And so we're getting away with a lot more than what these men are getting away with. We're getting the better prices. We're getting, everything is just better for us. You know what I mean? It's easier for us. So now we got this access, so we're in the field more. Because we have this access, we have a better access than men most time, That for me, that's how I was when I was out there.
I look at it too, because I see these women, and like the soccer mom, she was running the stolen goods scam. You would never assume, living in Orange County, she was, she was making $3 million buying all this stuff, Sephora and Ulta, and reselling it. So you don't look at you don't look at Karen as being a hustler, but she's doing the same shit. You know what I mean?
She's the main one, and nobody knows.
Away with it.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I think that's why a lot more women are doing it, because, and especially, I mean, just money out there, everything, it's just easier for us. So we're being put in these positions to have this power, and we want it. You know what I mean? Who wouldn't want it? So we're doing all these things these men are doing to get that power, to get all the access. It's crazy because it's the least people that you would expect that's doing the most. That's doing the most out there.
Yeah. And I think a lot of guys too, they think like a lot of women are square. So especially like these guys who are athletes, entertainers, they get these girls, they're thinking, oh, she's a square. but she's gained up. I mean,
Yeah.
she knows how to get the bag. She knows how
She's ready
to,
for war.
make sure she goes shopping. Yeah,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. So
They are.
I think they're positioning themselves to know that even if the guy breaks up with him, look, I got a couple bags I can sell. I got this, I got that. You know what I mean? They're not like looking at it just like, oh, I'm dating a celebrity. They don't care about that no more.
Mm-hmm. They're securing the bag. They're making sure their money's up and they're ready no matter what happens. They're very, they know that they're going to be set and they're going to be okay if anything hits the fan. That's how women now are days. Now, like they're more independent now. You know what I mean? They want to be independent. They want to be able to make sure they're secure and safe and good. You know what I mean? So they're right there running it up too.
Now, did you run across any women that you felt like I mean, I know you didn't talk to a lot of people while you were in there, but did you run across any women like, you're like, this girl right here, she's sharp, like she's on some next level shit. Did you run across any women that you felt were laced up on another level?
No. No, this trip, no. I really didn't. Like I said, there was a lot of people were in Arizona is way different. A lot of people were in there for being on them blues and stuff like that. So it was just a whole different ballgame. You know what I seen a lot of in there though, which was really sad? I seen a lot of young girls in there for transporting, like being a mule, like going past the border or trying to take drugs for
Ah,
somebody. I seen a lot of young girls. I actually met one that I ended up taking her under my wings because she ended up getting a little offer to take some drugs and that set her up with a lot of money or whatever. And she ended up getting caught. And I think they used her story when she told it to me. I was like, man, they set you up and you didn't even know. You know what I mean? And she was so young. She was so
wow.
young. And she looked like a little dork, glasses, no tattoos, no nothing. Never really got in trouble or anything, but she
Wow.
was out there for the money. So that's what I seen a lot of over here this time, which was pretty crazy. A lot of these little girls are being used for mules.
That's interesting because I know living out here in Arizona and your border, you're right by Mexico, and I know I always hear about like a lot of fentanyl bust.
Yeah.
And when you think about, like you said, these girls, looking all innocent, and it's like they're the perfect
Yep.
transporters, and yeah, they might think, oh well, nobody's gonna pull you over, don't worry about it, and it only takes one time,
Yeah, or just
you
say
know.
say they give her a little load and they're carrying the big load, like, hey, pop this person right here so we could go. There's a lot of that too, and I've seen it. So I think a lot of those women, that's what they've been doing to them because there was a lot of them in there and they were young girls. You didn't see somebody my age, you didn't see somebody with tattoos, you seen these little girls that look like squares doing time for transporting.
You know what? You made a great point because I remember when somebody was talking about that where they would make it look like, oh, we got a bust over here, 200,000-300,000, but right down the street, up their highway was the big load, but
Yeah.
that's a decoy, and
Yep.
so they're smart. They're doing that now to keep the shit moving. And yeah, you might think, oh, bro, I got this 30,000, whatever, blah blah blah, and these dudes are moving like $1 million worth of shit,
Yes.
but you're gonna get popped, not them.
Yep, that's exactly how they're doing it now, and
Yeah.
that's what they're doing out here. And I think that's what they're doing with these blues too, because them a lot of people are in there for those too.
Wow. Wow. That's like the big thing now, right? The blues, that's like everywhere,
Yeah,
huh?
it's everywhere. It's crazy. When I was out there on the streets, they didn't have that. It was a real stuff. It wasn't pills or anything like that. But that's the thing out here now, and a lot of people are in there for it. Like I said, a lot of people are in there for that transporting, and I have a feeling it's that they're using these girls, and the big loads are coming through with it because that stuff's everywhere.
Wow. Wow. Well, hey, you guys, you watching, you're thinking you're gonna come up. I mean, you don't know if you're just a fall guy for somebody else. And you know what? Even back in the day, like the big cartels, they would let like somebody, like you said, a truckload get hit to let
Hmm.
3 truckloads go through, and they would just take care of the person's family. So like,
Exactly.
here's 100 grand. You go to prison in the United States. When you get out, you get deported, but you're cool. You know what I mean? But you
Yeah.
got to go do this time, and in the meantime, they done made millions.
Yeah, and their family's taken
So
care of, their kids are taken care of, they're living well in prison. They just got to go away, do their time, come out, and then right back in the scene.
yeah. Yeah, so you guys out there thinking you're going to get a come up, and that you're going to be able to transport something, and sometimes they might even let you get away with it a couple of times, and then they're
Yep.
like, you know what? And then you don't even another thing too, you don't know a lot of big ballers. You come to find out they're working with the DA and the thing, so they're like, give us something,
That's true.
and you're the give up. You know what I mean? I mean, they're like, well, they're not going to give up their organization, because the organization is actually making money with the government over here. They're making money, so we
Exactly.
need a bus. Just give us a bus. You've seen it on Ozarks, and
Yes.
they'll like, I'll say, okay, so and so is going to be in this thing, and you'll be like, boom, they bust this person, and that's all they need, and then it lets you do
Mm-hmm.
20 more loads.
Yep. That's kind of crazy that you said that, because my last case that I talked about how I had an informant on my case and stuff like that. And I was thinking, okay, well, if this informant was hanging around me, I was doing drugs at that time. I didn't hang around anybody who didn't do drugs. So they were getting high too. So how reliable is this person? You know what I mean? Like, how reliable is this person if he's out there getting high with me? So I had asked my attorney, like, hey, if I take it to trial, are they going to put him on the stand? They were like, no, he's a paid informant. And even on my paperwork, it says he's been successful. It doesn't say he, it says X has been successful in several cases pertaining to guns, drugs, and gangs. So they wouldn't give him up.
Wow.
But I'm like, how reliable are they? Like, they're getting high with me. Like, they're really getting high with me, because I wasn't around anybody who wasn't getting high. So, like, it's okay for them to go ahead and get high with us and then go
But
right
you
back
know
and tell the
what?
cops?
It sounds like because they're not officially law enforcement, they can do all the stuff and still get paid and
It's
still get a
crazy.
pass.
It's crazy. And then on my case,
Yeah.
when they did hit my house, because I was selling crystal and heroin, they didn't mention anything about the heroin. They just mentioned the crystal. So my first thing in my head was, it's a heroin addict. So after they hit the house, they want to go back to my house and go find what I left there. So I'm thinking all these things, trying to pinpoint who it is and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it how they have these people out there in the street like that, and they could be right there running amok with us, and they're reliable.
Yeah, the streets are done. I tell people all the time, all the telling, the people who are, who want to be so-called gangsters and they don't want to do the time, so they become workers and they'll lock themselves so much drugs, but they got to turn somebody in every now and then. I mean, that shit is done. It's better
It
off just
is.
finding something else to do with your life.
It is. And not only that, but these cops that they're working with, they throw them under the bus all the time. They don't give a shit about them. They're throwing them under the
Yep.
bus. They're telling people who they are. They're giving them up to. They're throwing their names out there. They're literally just throwing them out there. I've seen it before. I've heard these cops drop names before. You know what I mean? Like, they don't give a shit about them, and they're supposed to
Well,
protect them.
in all actuality, just like what you're saying, the cops don't respect them because they're snitches, they're rats.
Exactly.
Because the cops are, they're not gonna. Cops have they have a loyalty to each other. Most of them ain't telling. That's
Yeah.
just cops get down. They get L.A. You know how L.A. cops. They're
Yeah.
no joke. They're not L.A. Sacramento. These guys are they handle their business.
Yeah.
But that's all I'm gonna say. But they're not ratting on each other like where they look at somebody it's like, oh, you gave us so and so, but you're a rat, man. You're not respected.
Exactly.
You're not respected.
Exactly. And I've seen them do it so many times. I've seen them throw names underneath there, like low key. Like, I've seen it all with these cops. Like, I remember when I got out one time, I got out and I never got released from downtown. I got released from downtown in Bakersfield, and they had a wall with a bunch of pictures of people that they were looking for. And I was looking at it and I was like, oh shit. And he was like, what, you see somebody you know? I was like, nah. He was like, if you see somebody you know, you let me know and I'll help you out. Like, I'll get you off that ankle monitor real quick. I was like, I don't see nobody I know. I was like, But that's what they do. And these people are like, okay, well, let me get off this ankle monitor because I do see somebody I know right there, And that's how it all starts. And then bam, next thing you know, your name's thrown all up in the mix. That's how they do.
Man, it's a dirty game, man. Like I said, I stay the hell away from it. Is there anything you would like to share with your fans out there, or anything you got going on social media wise that people can reach out to you or anything?
Yeah, I'm just getting back on my feet. I started another little business because I was doing the t-shirt thing. Now I'm doing eyebrows now. So I'm getting that going. Just you guys could follow me on TikTok. You guys could follow me on Instagram and Facebook and get my numbers up there. If there's anybody who needs help with addiction or finding recovery homes, I actually have a hookup with that too. I know a few people who have some recovery homes. And yeah, domestic violence. If you're going through it, don't think you can't get out of it, because you can get out of it. Reach out. There's a lot of resources out there. Your family's probably always going to be there for you. Sometimes they just don't like to get involved, but once you make that move, I'm pretty sure that they got you, you know. That's what happened with me. Like, nobody wants to get involved, but once you make that step to get out, they're going to be there for you. So, if you guys ever need to reach out and talk to somebody, I'm always here too. Like I said, I've been through the addiction, prison, domestic violence, all that stuff. If I could do it, they could do it.
Good shit. I'll have all your links in the description so people could go in the description, reach out, see all her contact information. And I appreciate you for coming back on the channel,
Yes,
sharing your
thank you.
stories. And you make sure you support, represent, subscribe, share. Big Herc 916, Lady Purpz, fresh out.
Thank you.